team. Like, I'm not big on calling ourselves leaders, but you've been such an incredible influence on so many people. So I definitely call you that. You're that in my book, and I'm constantly learning from you. So for those of us who, or for those of you who don't know me, I'm Helene. I'm from Victoria, BC. Like I said, I'm very glad that you're all here with us all tonight. Good evening, good afternoon, good morning, depending on what part of the world you're in. We have some announcements for you, and then we have a great educational piece by Howard and some inspiration. So I hope you all have some pens and paper ready. We're going to go through a lot of information, and we don't tend to repeat ourselves. So for you slow riders, there's a little bit of good news. This call is being recorded.
Yeah.
So, go ahead, Howard. Did you want to interview?
I want to say, yep, absolutely. We're recording this, and tomorrow, just check. We'll have this thing up. We've opened up a brand new YouTube channel called the Gold Saving System, and so when you get the link, you can basically subscribe to that channel, and every time we put a new video in there, you'll be automatically updated through YouTube.
Great, awesome. Thank you for that. So I have 3 announcements, and then I'll kick the call over back to Howard, who's gonna have some real valuable information to share with you. So the announcements
Can I interrupt real quick here? I'm getting some people are actually writing on the screen here that my audio is cut out. Can you guys hear me now? Can you hear me okay, Helene?
I can hear you.
It's louder now. Okay, great. All right. They're telling me that it's better now, so good. I'll just shut up and get out of your way.
All right, announcements. First announcement, many of you have purchased premium or premium professional packages since the beginning of this year, so since January 1st, 2017. So due to the success and demand of the premium packages, which includes the opportunity to participate in the cash gold pools, Mr. Seitz has announced the extension to extend the cutoff date, allowing the 2 pool participation shares per premium and premium pro packages all the way through April 30th. So all packages purchased after December 31st of last year will be granted 2 pool shares per purchase with retroactive effect. So for all of those of you who have purchased a package as of January 1st, thinking that you only had 1 share, you actually have 2. So that's the good news.
Wow.
For those of you that are, yeah, pretty cool. So for those of you that are thinking or wishing you had purchased one, thinking that you missed out on the double shares, not too late. You have till the end of April. And we are here with the GSS of the belief that nobody should put themselves into massive debt over this. This is a fantastic opportunity to participate in a pool share down the road. It's a long-term thing. So if you can afford, then call one of your success partners and find out what the scoop is, and we'd love to discuss it with you. And but if it's not in your budget, then that's okay too. We have a fantastic way, a different way to earn a very, very healthy income here with Carrot Bars. So I am sorry, guys. So my second announcement is that we have heard you loud and clear. We know that there is been many of you desperately waiting for a new 113 first exposure tool. And also our education that we've been talking about. So many of you have used Howard's Safe Cash and Gold website with great success. It's been a fantastic site, and many people have benefited from that. On different teams all across Carrot Bars actually. So thank you, Howard, for that. And like I said, and although the 8-minute Safe Cash and Gold site is fantastic, Howard is at the moment, he's tweaking it and he's shooting some new material so that the first exposure tool will not only pique people's interests about the why gold, about the company, but it will also introduce them to the 113 gold saving system. So we're just going to say February 1st for both the educational website and the new 8-minute Save Cash and Gold introductory video. If it's sooner, then great, but discount on February 1st. So that was the second announcement. And then the third announcement is the Freedom Choice package. So in August of last year, and I'm sure many of you have read about this, is that the German government suggested that every household needs at least 10 days of survival products in cash, water, food, etc. And I believe there was a couple of different countries or governments that also announced the same. So ask yourself, like, in the event of an internet blackout, would you and your family be prepared? So you gotta understand that your banks and ATMs depend on information transferred through the IP networks. And with all the networks down, no information or data will be available. So basically everything will be shut down. So this would result in no access to cash for your immediate needs. And what would happen if you run out of available cash on hand during such an event? So Carrot and Mr. Seitz actually commissioned a study from the BIFID, and that is the Berlin Institute of Finance, Innovation and Digitalization. I can barely say that word. So to investigate the effects of a data crisis situation of up to 10 days that limits cash access in Germany and basically all over the world. But this was particularly, concentrated on Germany, but if that happens in Germany, the same counts for us here in North America. So corporate has developed a new and a very unique package, which includes not only the study that the BIFID put out, but also a package with a minimum quantity of gold, cash gold, to handle the what if situation or scenarios outlined in this study. So what if the bank shut down, the ATM shut down, we have no cash on hand? How can we get through an extended period of time? So in this case, they did 10 days. Like, how is that? So when I remember talking to Nitsa Nakos, and she went to Greece last year summer, and she said the people that had a little bit of gold were the ones that were doing okay because they had something to barter with. So you can find more information in your back office. Simply log in, go to your product purchase section, click on Cash Gold and look at the Freedom Choice package. There is a lot more information there. The Freedom Choice will generate 5 units in the dual system, and you earn points with the unilevel system. It also contains 40 pieces of cash gold in different denominations, so a little bit of all. So the 0.1, 0.2, 0.4, and 0.6. There is also a variety of cash gold packages available under your product purchase tab. And if you have not yet familiarized yourself with this product and you have not purchased the package for your own household yet, I cannot stress enough to do so. First of all, we need to have a little bit of that obviously in our own household to protect ourselves and our family. But we also need to have this product in hand if you're going to go promote it. So that's the 3 announcements for this week. So I'm now going to hand over the call to my good friend, Mr. Howard Olsen, who is going to inspire us with an awesome educational piece. And this morning, Howard and I were talking, and we came to the conclusion that what we have with the 113, 1 package, 1 gram, 3 people, reach out to 3 people, is so simple. It may be a little bit too simple, and we're trying to overcomplicate things for ourselves, but also for our prospects. So to shed some light on this issue, Howard is going to go over the simple ABC 1, 2, 3, what he's so good at. So have your pen and paper ready. Howard talks fast, and so be prepared to write from. So Howard, it's all yours.
Well, I'll try to slow it down. Thank you so much. And I am going to go through the ABC 1, 2, 3, and actually, and now just to give you a little heads up, guys, it's now we've shifted a little bit. It's going to be ABC 1, 2, 3, 1, 1, 3. ABC 1, 2, 3, 1, 1, 3. But before I even get into that, you know what? I really feel compelled this evening or this morning to just really help you understand the value of gold in a brand new way. And I'm going to show you some things. And I think, you will have seen some of this before, but I want to give it to you. Hey, where'd my, can you guys, can somebody just, can you still see my camera? Hold on. Oh, there we go. There we go. Now, here we are. Okay, perfect. So we're going to cut this, cut that. All right, I'm going to stick this up here. Yeah, I just really feel compelled to help you understand the value of gold, and I'm going to do a quick little replay for you and show you some stuff that you've already seen, okay? So we've all seen this slide before, right? And what we say is that, people think inflation is an increase in the price of goods, and what we try to get across using this simple little slide here, and hang on, how do I, hang on, I'm playing with my own camera because we're recording it. There we go. Got it. Okay. So we talk about, and I know that we've all seen this. The price of a suit was an ounce of gold 2,000 years ago. It was an ounce of gold 60 years ago. It was an ounce of gold today. I want to take this whole concept and I want to shift it. I want to flip it a little bit. Okay. What we're really saying here is that the price hasn't changed when we measure it in gold, which is a true store of value. So what we're really saying is that the value of gold does not change. It's the currencies which are constantly fluctuating. The reason why, it took $35 to buy a suit in 1960, but it takes $1,200 to get a suit today, is because they keep printing this fiat currency, which is unbacked, and the more they print, the less it's worth. But the purchasing power, the value of the gold itself, its store of value has remained constant over time. And so I want to show this to you now. Take a look at this slide. I've never, this is a brand new one. I've been playing with it. I pulled some of this information from King World News. I want you to just take a look at it. And what we're doing here is I want to show you the destruction of the fiat currencies when we don't measure currency against each other, but when we measure the currency against the gold. You see, most people think, the price of gold went up. No, the price of gold went down. Actually, the price of gold really doesn't change. It changes when we measure gold in dollars. But what I want to do tonight is I want to measure dollars in gold. We're going to flip this thing on its head. So let me give you, before I'm just going to blank the screen here for a second, and I'll just leave it up. So, I want to go back. I'm going to take you back a couple years ago, and some of you will have heard me say this before. All right, I go back to this is 2017, so I go back to 2014, 2015, and today, at the closing price of gold today in U.S. dollars, okay, in U.S. dollars, the closing price of gold today was about 1208, 1210. Do you know that in 2014, 15, the price of gold was about $1,210, pretty much the same as it was today. So, if you look at it in US dollars, the price of gold didn't change at all. But I don't live in the United States. I live in Canada. And in 2014-15, the Canadian dollar and the US dollar traded on par with each other. That meant that one Canadian dollar was equal to one US dollar. And so I could buy an ounce of gold for $12.10 American, or I could buy it for $12.10 Canadian. It was the same. It was irrelevant. Well, here we are today on January 24th of 2017. The Canadian dollar has dropped 35% against the US dollar. And now all of a sudden today, gold in US dollars is $12.10. But if I have to buy them in Canadian dollars, it now costs me $1,600 an ounce. Now, I want you to think about this, and I want you to think about this from the perspective of saving gold over long periods of time. Now, I bought gold back in 2014, back in 2015, where I paid $1,200 for it. And you know what? I didn't have to do anything. I just sat on it. I just let it sit in a corner, accumulate no interest, And the value of the gold that I bought in 2014, even though the price, when you look on the internet, hasn't changed, the value of my dollar has dropped 35%, and now all of a sudden my gold is worth $1,600. I got a 35% lift on the value of that gold just by sitting on it. And the same thing is going to happen to each and every one of you, no matter what country or what currency you're dealing with. Now, I want to focus you back to this chart on the screen, and I want you to, we know that the United States went off the gold standard in 1971, and because of Bretton Woods, everybody was pegged to the US dollar, which basically meant that the entire world was on a gold standard pegged through the US dollar. The US dollar was what we call a proxy, okay? And the only reason nations of the world agreed to allowing the US dollar to become the world's reserve currency was, one, up until about that time, they had a strong economy, and because the dollar was backed by gold, and you could officially convert your currency for gold, it was said that the dollar was as good as gold. Well, that was a promise. 1971, August 15th of 1971, Richard Nixon broke that promise, and all of a sudden, the dollar was no longer as good as gold. The dollar was just a useless piece of paper that people accepted because they were floating around in circulation. There was a promise that would be paid against. So now I want to go look at this chart, okay? And I'm going to look at 5 major currencies. Do you know that in 1971, you could buy an ounce of gold for 12,500 yen? So in Japanese yen, an ounce of gold was 12,500. You see, you have to price gold in the currency that you use in the nation you live in. It's wrong to always price gold in US dollars because not everybody has them. So the Japanese yen in 1971, an ounce of gold was $12,500. Today, as of yesterday, an ounce of gold in Japanese yen is 139,000 yen. In other words, the price of gold in yen increased 11 times. But if you take, now we understand that the gold holds its value. So the gold bought a suit 2,000 years ago, the gold bought the same suit 60 years ago, the gold buys the same suit today. So the purchasing power has remained the same. So if we then take the value of the currency, what's the decline of currency relative to gold? The currency has decreased. The Japanese yen has decreased 91% since 1971. Now we go to the euro. Okay, in 1971, there was no euro. It was a Deutschmark. So this is a Deutschmark euro comparison. 1971, ounce of gold, 65 euros. Today, it's 1,129 euros. The price of gold in euros has gone up 17 times. The currency has decreased 94% when measured in gold. US dollars, 1971, the peg was, an ounce of gold is $35, $35 an ounce. Today, it's $12.10. As of today, the value of gold has gone up 35 times. The currency has decreased 97%. Now, we make a statement in our webinars, you know, that the purchasing power of the dollar has lost 98 to 99% of its value. And here we're saying 97. It's still a true statement that we make, because we make that statement from the inception of the Federal Reserve, which was in 1913. So from 1913 to today, the dollar's lost about 99% of its purchasing power. But from 71 to today, it's lost 97% of it. Okay, totally makes sense, because under Bretton Woods, the currency was backed by gold and gold was on a direct peg. So we didn't have any inflation. We didn't have a whole lot of currency destruction. After 71, boom, as they started printing this money, the value began to decrease. Now here, look at Canadian dollars. I gave you an example a few moments ago. In 1971, the Canadian dollar was actually worth more than the US dollar. So you could buy an ounce of gold for $34, not 35, 34. But what happened in the meantime? The Canadian dollar is tanked. Today, an ounce of gold in Canadian dollars is 1,618. 48% increase. 98% reduction of our currency. And if we go to pound sterling, which is, it's been decimated the most. So if you were to calculate these numbers, it's not 98%, it's about 98.7%. So it's almost 99%. You could buy an ounce of gold for 15 pounds. Today it's 978 pounds, a 65% increase or a 99% reduction of that currency. Basically what's going on, because they're printing all this currency, the fiat money system is absolutely being destroyed. But the purchasing power of the gold remains constant. And what I love about what we're doing here at Carat Bars, listen, just forget about the price of gold. Did it go up? Did it go down? Forget about it. Now listen, when it goes down, that is just a huge buying opportunity. But this opportunity to be able to purchase gold, whether you're buying it by the gram through Carat Bars, but when we look at the ounce price at 12.10, this is a gift from God, and this gift, this window of opportunity will be closing. We will not have it forever, and we are getting remarkably close to a point in time when physical accessibility to gold will get tighter and tighter. Now, Harold Seitz, our dear CEO, in his infinite wisdom, tells us that he has stockpiled enough of this that we can melt down these kilo-sized bars to continue producing these grams and cash gold units. But you know, the COMEX and the LBMA and all the rest of these institutions, they are getting increasingly tight on supply because the price has been manipulated in what's called the paper market or the synthetic market. There's a very big difference between the paper market and the physical market, which is what we deal in. When you have a Carat bar in your hand, when you have cash gold in your hand, you have real gold bullion, which will hold its value forever. And you'll want to get as much as you can, as often as you can, because this is the only way to protect yourself from the destruction of our currencies, which are basically debasing by the minute. You know, so here's a beautiful little example. So in Canadian dollars, you know, in US dollars, let's say this is a piece of cash gold. It's 1/10 of a gram. It's not a full gram. So the way I look at this, I want to help you with something here. When I look at cash gold, and when I look at Carat bars, I look at this as being spendable currency. So let's just use US numbers now, okay? I'm going to call this piece of cash gold, let's call this 1 gram, a 1/10 of a gram. This to me is like my $5 bill. 2/10 of a gram, it's like my $10 bill. 4/10 of a gram, it's like my 40. 6/10 of a gram, call it, you know, just for simple reference, it's the 50. A gram of gold, a full gram, you know, that's kind of like my 70 to 100. And so when you have cash gold and you have Carat bars gold in your hand, you have got a complete complement of spendable gold in small transactable units. You don't want these ounces. Now, I know many of you have heard me say this in the webinars and my videos and whatnot, but I really want you to get your head wrapped around this because it's going to lead me to the next place. It's going to lead us to the next thing I want to talk about. Does this make sense to you here? Right? You really want to get your hands on as much physical gold as you can. And the beautiful thing that Carat Bars has done has made it so simple to begin acquiring it in small increments without having to go broke or destroy your cash flow every time you want to get your hands on some of it, because you can get it in small units. All right. So that brings us to the beautiful, beautiful gold savings system, or what we call 113. 113. This is a beautiful, powerful, but utterly simplistic savings mechanism that will literally enable you to save money, accumulate real and genuine wealth, and protect and preserve your purchasing power. Because, you know, the way I look at it is every time I take a $10 bill from my wallet and acquire a piece of cash gold, I'm basically I'm washing my fiat money. I'm giving it back to the central bank, and I'm acquiring a piece of cash gold in my hand. And the minute I do that, inflation is dead in its tracks. As long as I'm holding on to $10 bills, $5 bills, $20 bills, inflation is eating it every second I hang on to it. The minute I convert it into gold, I stop inflation dead in its tracks. And you do the same thing. Now, the beautiful thing about this system is, listen, if all you ever did was open a free gold savings account and begin to acquire gold by the gram, you have already done more than 99% of people on this planet. We've used this statistic before. 1% of the world's population holds physical gold. Actually, the latest number from the World Gold Council, I spent a good part of this week at the Vancouver Investment and Resource Conference, so it's primarily focused on precious metals. The statement that they're making now is that actually statistically, it's 0.5% of the world's population sit on physical gold. So if all you ever did was acquire gold into that gold savings account and stop inflation, you have done more than 99.5% of the people on this planet. And that's a beautiful thing. And this is why we do this, because we understand the power of getting ourselves on this physical precious metal to hedge ourselves against inflation. But what this beautiful system allows us to do, this 113, the gold saving system. So I'm going to go through 113. What does that mean? One package, one time, if you so desire, to become an affiliate and participate in both sides of the income opportunity. In other words, the residual income that comes out of the Unilevel plan through the gold savings, okay? And then basically pick up bonus payments as your teams grow through the dual, same transactions, same people, okay? You get one package, one time. You commit to 1 gram of gold per cycle of time. So some people say, listen, I'm just getting started in this business. Times have been tough. I can't afford 1 gram every single week. You know what? Then get 1 gram every single month. But get yourself onto a regular and consistent savings drip. As for me and for my team, I'm proposing, listen, let's do this. We get 1 gram of gold every single week, and we teach others how to do the same thing. So one package, one time. One gram of gold a week or 1 gram of gold a month. You decide. 3, let's find 3 people who are willing to be educated, understand the power of using gold to hedge against inflation, and will commit to the same behavior. And when we do this, and then they find their 3, and then they find their 3, we can truly at that point begin to build true residual income. Now, I want to talk about residual income for a minute. You know, the reason why we started this whole gold saving system is because everybody, listen, the dual team produces really generous bonus payments. And everybody looked at it and get hung up on it, and they start chasing these packages to trigger units, which then trigger bonus cycle bonuses. But what you need to understand is that each cycle bonus is a one-time event. You know, and it may never be recur again, and it only happens as long as you're recruiting. The beautiful thing here, we all want residual income. So what is that? Residual income is income that is produced today from an effort made earlier in time. Income today that reproduces today from past efforts. We all want it. We all need and we all want that leverage. And the only place you're going to get it in the carrot bar system is through the gold savings, because this will be ongoing behavior. When we all commit to saving gold, there will be a regular flow of transactions, which then produces residual income, from which we can use some of that income to produce more gold, which will then trigger more residual income. So do you get that? This is what excites me so much. Now, this is not a get-rich-quick plan. This is, listen, if you want residual income, you got to work for it. There's a bit of deferred gratification here. The problem is we live in an instant society. I take a pill, I want my headache gone in 30 seconds. I got on Twitter, and I'm going to hit my 140 characters, and you're going to receive it instantly. Listen, in residual income, you need to build toward it. Now, we can pull some beautiful bonuses, which is why you want a business package. You want to get in the dual team because you want those bonuses. But if you want true, genuine residual income, we are in a monkey see, monkey do business. We're in a business of duplication. And people will only, whatever you do, people you talk to will duplicate it. Whatever you don't do will also duplicate. Now, my question, rhetorical questions. Do you genuinely want to hedge yourself and protect yourself for the days ahead so you can have a good, legitimate, comfortable retirement? I think we would all answer yes to that. Do you believe that gold is based on everything you know, that gold is the strongest most legitimate way to stop and arrest inflation in its tracks? And I think we would all answer yes. Well, then, you know what? Let's start saving in this and let's start educating others, and we can then build residual income, which will bring us cash flow into the years ahead. But it all starts with the work we do today. And that is the whole idea of 113, a very simple system, one package, one time, 1 gram of gold per period of time. And let's find 3 who subscribe to, believe, and commit to the same behaviors. And then we help those 3 find their 3, and those 3 find their 3, and on we go. And if we will be patient and diligent and consistent, this will work. We can literally show you how to save money, accumulate real genuine wealth, maybe for the first time in your life, and protect and preserve your purchasing power by simply changing a few spending habits, turning them into savings habits, without compromising or destroying your current lifestyle or cash flow. Give up a couple of Starbucks, start saving gold, and let's teach some others to do the same thing. Now, we've all heard this example. We've all heard this example of a penny doubled, right? So we've heard about compounding, the magic of compounding. All right, so if you have 1 penny and you double it, you have 2 pennies. And if you double it again, you have 4 pennies. And if you double it again, you have 8 pennies. Listen, it seems like we're going nowhere fast. I want you to look at this now. Now, many of us have heard this analogy, but I want you to see the power of it. I want you to see it visually, and I want you to hear it, because I want the penny to drop for you. Pardon the pun. All right? Look at this. A penny doubled every single day. Here's what. Watch the bottom of the screen as these numbers are increasing. Boom. Here. That's exactly what's going on. We get out to day. You don't even see any movement on this chart until you get to about day 20. Now look at. Here's what it looks like. Day 1, you have a penny. Day 2, you got 2 cents. 4 cents, 8 cents, 16 cents, 32 cents, 64 cents, $1.28, $1.56. Oh man, this took me 9 weeks. This took me 9 months. Okay, 10.24, 20.48. Oh, this is getting interesting. 40.96. Oh, 81.92, 163. Man, I've been working a long time for 163 bucks. 327, 655, 13. Oh, in 13.10. That's interesting. Compound. 26.21, 52.42, jumps to 10.48. Now that's getting in day 21. Now we got some serious jumps. Look what happens from day 20 to day 30. You get down to day 30, and this thing has compounded out to $5,368,700. Now, what I am not suggesting here is that by following this 113 methodology, at the end of 30 days, you're going to have $5 million in the bank. No, the point of this is, what I want you to see is that on a 30-day horizon, doubling every day, the large, most substantial and noticeable growth happens toward the end of it. And it's the same thing as we build our Carrot Bars business. We build our Carrot Bars business, and the dual team will give us bonuses. Not residual income, bonuses to keep us going, to keep us inspired, to give us cash from which we can continue to save. But if we will continue down this path of saving on a regular, consistent basis, and we all do it, and we all emulate it, and we all believe it, and we all articulate it, and we all take this concept forward, we start to see this compounding effect. And so here's your chart. This is what it looks like. And this is basically using no dual team. This is just compounding gold using a period of time. So we could call this weeks, or we could call this months. It doesn't matter. It's per period. 113. Period 1. Okay, we're going to go find three people. You put a gram. You personally saved a gram. Period 2. You saved another gram. Now you got 2 grams. Period 3, you saved another gram. You got 3 grams, okay? You haven't made much in commission yet. Period 4, you got 4 grams. But you've been consistent in your saving, and you've stopped inflation on that funny money. So you're already way ahead of the curve, all right? Week 5, period 5. Now you got 120 bucks, but now you got, look at this, boom, now we're up to 6, almost 7 grams, all right? 6. You got residual income, 358 bucks. Now, again, we're using really small conservative numbers because we don't want to be showing any kind of hype. But you can do the numbers for yourself. I mean, you get yourself a package, you start leveraging that, you start bringing in dual team bonuses from which you begin to save. Look at period 8. All of a sudden, there's 3,000 income. It went from 0 and 1 to 3,208. That's the power of compounding. And this is using real Carrot Bar's numbers. This is phenomenal, but we have to set the expectation. Are you committed to this? Are you committed to getting your financial house in order? Are you committed to building true residual income, not one-hit wonder bonus checks that come through the pike when somebody 20 levels down from you happens to buy a VIP package? That's nice when it happens, but you can't count on it. This, saving gold and residual income, you can count on that if you'll commit, and the people you come commit. So you might talk to 10 people and only 4 of them say, man, I get it and I commit to it. That's all you need. Because then they're going to talk to their 10 or 20 and find their 3 or 4. And that's how this works. 1, 1, 3. So the question that always comes is, well, I don't know how to talk to people. I just don't know how to do it. What do I say? Well, there are lots of different approaches that we can take toward this, okay? So I'm just going to I'm going to share with you how I do it. You don't have to use my words, but I want you to understand the simplicity of the language. Now, you've all heard this before. You don't need to be an incredible presenter, like a perfect presenter, and you don't need to be a spectacular speaker. If you can learn to become an incredible inviter and just invite people to take a look at the same things that you saw that convinced you this was a good thing, you're on your way. Listen, when you first joined Carrot Bars, you were not making presentations. Somebody sent you a link, somebody brought you to a meeting, and somebody showed you a website, and you made up your mind. The same thing is going to be true for your prospects. So quit. Listen, your number one job here, if you're new at this, is to learn everything you can about gold and learn everything you can about Carrot Bars and keep it to yourself. Listen, your job is not to show how smart you are because, maybe you're a school bus driver, or maybe you are, I don't know, maybe you're a clerk in a pharmacy. But the point is, maybe you're a teacher. The point is, when you go talk to the people you know and you start trying to show how smart you are about gold, you know what they're thinking? Now, you might actually know a lot about gold, but here's what they're thinking. You're a school teacher. What do you know about gold? You've lost your credibility. So your job is not to show how smart you are about gold. Your job is to invite them to take a look at something so they can figure it out for themselves. And even though I know a lot about gold, when I'm prospecting, I am just simply inviting people to take a look. And that's what we want to do here. So it's ABC, 1, 2, 3, 1, 1, 3. That's where this whole thing's going to go. ABC, 1, 2, 3, 1, 1, 3. Now, if you're sitting in your computer, or you're sitting in your TV, or you're sitting in a coffee shop, you got your headphones on, you're watching this, repeat after me. I want you to absorb this. ABC. Come on. You can do it. ABC. ABC. Come on. ABC. ABC. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 1, 3. That's the third part of the system. So how does this work? All right. Invitation, presentation, follow-up conversation. The other thing we're going to do here, Helene and I had a long talk about this today. We're going to get rid of all that network marketing MLM language from here, right? We start talking to people. Everybody's got, whether it's right or not right, everybody's got a perception, and perception is the truth to the one who holds it. So if we start sounding like Amway people, come on, let's do a 3-way. What are you talking about? I don't want no 3-way. Listen, it's invitation. We're going to invite somebody to take a look. We're going to give them the invitation. Then they will look at the presentation. And after the presentation, we just make a follow-up conversation. So it's the power of language here. Just, don't use funny language that might offend people or might scare people or might trigger perceptions that don't need to be triggered. All we're going to do here, listen, Mr. Prospect here, Sally, Joan, here's what we're going to do. I'm going to invite you to take a look. I want you to take a look, and when it's all done, we'll just do a quick follow-up conversation, see what you thought of the whole thing. Is that okay? And honestly, everybody says, sure, that's totally fine, because there's no hidden agenda, and there's nothing manipulative or pressured about it. So here you go. ABC, these are your building blocks. What it basically means, A, you are the A. You're the affiliate. You're the Carrot Bars affiliate. You basically have signed up. You got your free account. You got your package, and now you want to start building your residual income. Well, this is how you do it. You, the affiliate, A, invites B Who's B? That's your buddy, your boss, your neighbor, your friend, right? This is anybody that you care enough about that you want to learn about Karatbars. So you, the A, invite B, the prospect, to take a look at C, which is any presentation other than you. You are not the presenter. When I'm prospecting, I am not the presenter. I am the conduit between the prospect and the presentation material. It could be a website, it could be a webinar, it could be our Thursday night VGR, it could be a live event if you got one going on near you. All right, you invite B to take a look at C, and after they've taken a look at C, you pick up the phone and you invite B to have a conversation. Now, the other language, okay, so we're getting rid of three-way calls. Forget about three-way calls. They're called follow-up calls. I'm just going to give you a quick follow-up call, okay? All right, and I'm not going to introduce you to my upline. I'm not going to introduce you to my downline. What's that? No, I'm going to introduce you to my partner. We've had a lot of success together. We've had a lot of fun together. And you know what? I just want to introduce you. Let's get some of these questions answered. And so that's all we're going to do. We're going to have a follow-up conversation with my success partner, my partner, whatever language you feel comfortable with. But let's get rid of that MLM-y stuff. Let's get rid of that network marketing stuff because people are sensitive to it. So we don't even need to go there. All right. So A invites B, take a look at presentation. Could be savecashandgold.com. And I'll tell you right here, right now, I did a lot of work on it today. And you know, it's not just an 8-minute video. It's several hours of thinking through it. So, but that video, you know, I should have some recording and stuff like that done by the end of the week, by the time I get it rendered, polished, and online. So we're saying Feb 1. It'll happen before February 1st. I want to manage the expectation, and if I can get it up sooner than that, everybody's thrilled. So the first thing is, you know, so how does this invitation go? Here's how it goes. And here's how I do it, and we can go through a couple of different, you know, scenarios or variables. But, you know, I pick it up. People say, well, what are you doing these days? Or what do you do? You know, I might go to I went to a networking thing last week, and people say, what do you do? I said, well, I help people, you know, inflation-proof themselves. I help them secure their money with affordable gold. And everybody I said that to went, what? Well, how do you do that? I said, well, basically, gold is expensive. It's inflation-proof, but most people can't afford it. So I help people begin to acquire it in small, affordable increments. And for those that are so inclined, I actually show them how they can use a system to subsidize it. What? Well, sounds like you're interested. Would if I could show you how this works, would you take 8 minutes to watch a quick video? Nobody says no. Sure, I'd take 8 minutes. Would you take 8 minutes? Listen, there's a thing in influence, in the science of influence. It's called go big by going small. Go big by going small. What does that mean? Here's what it means. You get a big commitment by asking for a small one, because if you ask someone to make a big commitment the first time, man, I don't know enough. It's too threatening to me. I don't know what the outcome's going to be. Forget it. I'm not giving you an hour. I'm not coming to a meeting. But if I can ask for something small, the chances that you say yes are going to be much greater. Now, the end game is I want you to see all of it. So if I could send you, you know, if I could show you a video that's just 8 minutes long that explains how the whole thing works, would you take 8 minutes to watch it? That's the small commitment. They go, sure. And honestly, I've never had anybody say no. Sure, I'd take 8 minutes. Perfect. I'm going to send you an email. I'm going to send it over to your inbox. And the only thing I'm going to do after that is I want to give you a quick follow-up call just to get your impressions. See what you liked, see what you didn't like. Is that fair? Listen to my language now. You're going to want to write this down. Just ask them, is that fair? And because everything that you've done so far is totally fair, what's their answer? They're going to say, yeah, that's totally fair. Perfect. You just booked your follow-up call. And most of the time why we don't get a follow-up call is because we just don't ask for it. But the truth of the matter is you also don't grow your business without a follow-up call. You need to have a follow-up. And this is how we do it. So scenario, I'm at a networking function. Somebody says, so what do you do? Well, I help people, you know, secure their money, get themselves inflation-proof, and really set themselves up with a great retirement with affordable gold. What? Well, if I could send you an 8-minute video that explains the whole thing, would you take 8 minutes to take a look at it? Sure, I would. Boom, send them off. There's your invitation. Or, you know, somebody might say, you know, I was sitting at a restaurant not too long ago, and I've done this a few times. And, you know, the waitress was great. you start with a small little compliment. You just, so it could be a waiter. It could have been a waiter. In this case, it was a waitress. I said, you know what? You got great people skills. Oh, thank you. I said, you know what? We've really enjoyed being taken care of by you. I've got this great little business. Somebody with your way with people would do great at it. You could actually make some additional income and save more of the money that you make here without having to quit your job. Really? See, everybody loves that because I've just taken the fear out of it. Well, do I have to quit? Do I have to get a new job? No. You know what? With skills like yours, man, you can make some extra money, keep more of the money that you're making, and you don't even have to quit your job. Would you like to take a look? I'd love to take a look. Awesome. Give me your email address and phone number. I'm going to send you a video, and all I want to do afterwards is I want to call you and just see what you thought of that video. Boom, invitation, presentation, and we've already set the stage for a follow-up conversation. So there's a couple different ways that you can do this. All right, we'll be doing more training in the days to come and really getting into scripts and things like this. But don't present, just invite. And if you'll do the inviting, the presentation materials will do the heavy lifting. All right, and that's how this works. Now, when you call them up, you basically, I do a three-way call or a follow-up call. It just kind of goes like this. Hey, Joe. Hey, Mary. Did you have a chance to watch that video? Yep. Perfect. What if anything did you like? And I use this language also. What, if anything, did you like about it? You want to know why I use that language? I'll tell you why. Because a lot of times people have been trained, what did you like best about it? And when you ask that question, if you ask me that question, I'm thinking, that's a manipulative question. I'm thinking of something that I hated about it because I hate the way you just asked me that question. But if I say, what, if anything, did you like about it? Now I'm leaving it wide open. I'm basically saying you are free to tell me whatever you want to tell me. It takes the pressure off of it. It makes it open and transparent. So what if anything, do you like? Well, I like this whole idea of, now I finally understand inflation in a brand new way, and I can see that gold is the answer. Perfect. Would you like more information? You must have a few questions. Yeah, I got all kinds of questions. I work with this lady named Helene Wolters. I work with this guy named Howard Olsen. I work with my friend Greg Gary. The guy is brilliant. He understands gold really well, and he's done really well here. So what I'd like to do is I want to introduce you to him and give you a chance to get some of those questions answered. We'll probably both learn something. And if you decide to do something, you're going to get to work with him. And if not, at least you made a new friend. All right? Okay. And that's how I set up the three-way call or the follow-up call. And it's just that simple. So, listen, although we have shifted from this, selling of packages to this simple 113, the basic methodology of building your business hasn't changed. Okay? The methodology is still, you need to talk to people. We still need to get the message out. We still need to invite people to take a look. Because if you're not inviting people to take a look, you are not growing your business. If you're not saving gold, you're not growing your business. And if you're not saving gold and you're not talking to people, you're not going to build residual income. The kicker on this is, if you'll save gold and just talk to people, we talk about this whole thing of a vibrational frequency. In fact, I spent a lot of time talking about this. I'm not into wooey-fooey. I'm not into this spiritual new age stuff. I'll call it stuff, okay? I'm not into that, okay? But thoughts are things. And we talk about these things called vibrational frequencies, the law of attraction, you might want to call it. All right, there is something to it. Jesus talks about it in the Bible. If you think it, you become the thing that you think about. And if you are actually saving gold and seeing the physical manifestation of your gold savings account increasing every single week, when you talk to somebody else, well, I save gold every week and I help people do the same thing. The frequency that you transmit when you deliver that message comes across as completely authentic, genuine, and credible simply because the words that you spoke are in complete alignment with your behavior. And this is why it's so critical to exhibit the behavior before you talk about the behavior. And if you'll do that, I promise you, you're going to build a beautiful business. We're going to build residual income. Take a long view on this. I bought gold 10 years ago, not to cash it out a year later. I bought gold 10 years ago, knowing that there will be a time in the future ahead where I'll need it because our currencies are being destroyed. It's the same thing here. Look at your carrot bars business. As you acquire gold, hold on to it. Hold long. But as you're building your carrot bars business, also take a long view. I am building residual income, and I'm really grateful for the bonuses that came from the dual team along the way. But the end goal is that residual pool of income that me and everybody else are building. And so, that's really what I got for you here tonight. I hope there was some value in that. The value of gold remains constant. It's the currencies which are fluctuating. And if you'll learn to invite, and if you'll save gold and teach others to do it, we can work together. We'll jointly propel this message, and we will build that residual income that has eluded so many because we're taking the right view at it. Go along. All right. So with that, I'm done. I'm going to hand it back over to my friend Helene Wolters. And thank you so much for giving me a few moments here. I hope there was something useful here for you.
Thank you so much, Howard. Wow. Did you guys take notes? Because I sure did. Always learning something new. So what I loved is, thoughts are things. And what I find is that when you believe in yourself, you believe in gold, you believe in carrot bars, you cannot go wrong. So quite often when we don't see the success that we want, the belief level is low. So you need to work on that. So it's, it's pretty simple how that works. So before I go into my last little spiel here, we're almost at the top of the hour. I do want to give a shout out to Mr. Tobias Poole. And he won something pretty cool over the last 7 days at the cruise. Mr. Tobias Poole won a car.
Wow.
That's pretty generous from Carrot Bars, Mr. Side. So I just wanted to give him a big shout out. I do not know you personally, but I see you're on the call. So congrats. Well done.
Way
awesome.
to go.
That was a really, really welcome big surprise for you. So this morning in my email inbox, I found an email from Mr. Eric Worre, and I'm a big Eric Worre fan. I've done a lot of coaching with him. I've attended his conferences, and what I read really resonated. So I just want to go over that with you guys and leave you with that. So part of finding success in mostly any kind of business, whether it's a traditional business or our kind of business, an e-commerce business, is developing your leadership skills. You need to work on developing your leadership skills, and that's a process. But there's one tool that we see top leaders around the world utilize, and I see Howard using this, Coach Bobby G, Brian Olnick, Greg Gary, Marilyn Lahr, Patrick Spearing. We're all using and utilizing this in order to get more action out of the people that we're leading and working with. And here it is. It's called the assignment, or as I call it, the call to action. And people in general thrive on assignments, and we've been trained our entire life to complete assignments. It starts as a little kid in kindergarten, or even before that, right? So a leader will give somebody an assignment, and a leader will say, do this, and then give me a call, or schedule PGR by this and this time, and give me a call. But it gives them as something to do with a deadline. And this is what the best leaders in the world do with everyone that they work with. They to their leaders by saying, this is what I need you to do in the next 30 days, the next 90 days, or whatever time period. So you can use this tool with your leaders, with your team, with your prospects, and especially with your brand new business partners. So your new people are coming in, they're looking for guidance. Everybody needs guidance when they come in, right? So don't let them figure it out themselves. This is what's so important. We have to hold them by the hand. We have to guide them and send them to your leaders. Send them to the people that have been in the business a little bit longer. Send them to the business success partners, and for a game plan discussion. Howard and I, we have on scheduled, I believe, tomorrow with somebody new that he just brought on. That's important. People need that kind of guidance. And when you give them that kind of guidance, their anxiety level goes way down, their encouragement goes up, and they will actually take action. So don't just get somebody in the business and expect them to go take off and do everything all by themselves. People need assignments or calls to action. So get in the mindset of creating assignments for people you are attempting to lead and give them a deadline. That's not, we're not employers, but we're setting examples where we're teaching them how to work this business. So, I cannot stress that enough. And I think, all people that have seen a level of success here at Carrot Bars will agree with me. And watch what happens. And I promise you that you will see growth like you've never seen before. So with that said, I'd like to give you your assignment. So the Carrot Pay app is going to be launched next month in February, and the Carrot Pay app, for you, those of you that don't know what that is, it's basically an app on your phone, on your smartphone, that will allow us to pay for goods and services in gold. And if you need a little bit more information on that, I'll leave it up to the person who invited you to this call or one of your business partners to explain it a little bit further, but we're a little short on time right now. So I believe that now is the time for you to get as many gold savers on your team as you possibly can. So my call to action is basically 3 different assignments for you until, for the next few days. So first, get your Freedom Choice Pack. We talked about it a little bit earlier in this call. Every household needs one, including yours. Pick up, and once you've got your own, then pick up the phone and call into your team and help them protect themselves by getting their own FC pack. Very, very important. Secondly, make sure you get your 113 done by February 10th. If you don't have a package, get a package. Any kind of package, bronze, silver, gold, VIP, whatever suits your budget, doesn't matter. Then set your autosave for 1 gram per week, or at least 1 gram per month, and find 3 people who are willing to do the same. Howard just told you how. He showed you clearly how to do that. Go back and listen to the recording if you need to. Be the example for your team and put your first focus there. If you have already completed your 113, then help your team to do the same by February 10th. And why do we say February 10th? Basically because that's when our production month ends and want to get as much production in by the end of the month, and our new production month starts on the 11th. So you definitely want to see your team grow from month to month, and that's how we measure it. We look from production month to production month. And then last but not least, build for Thursday's VGR. Same place, same time. I know Howard has fine-tuned his presentation even more, and it's now down to 45 minutes. And I promise you, those that are bringing guests are converting these guests to gold savers and business builders. So those are your 3 assignments, and definitely make your calls down into your team and encourage them to do the same. So with that said, Howard, did you have anything to add to that?
I think that's it. You've got a beautiful call to action, and I think that's where we should conclude it. So
awesome.
Yeah.
And we'll call it a night, and we will see you guys on Thursday.
I'm excited. Great having all of you here. Great spending this time with you, Helene. I am grateful. I'm grateful for your partnership, your friendship, and this journey that we are all on together. Not just you and I, but everybody on this webinar with us tonight.
Same goes, guys. Awesome. Have a great night. We'll see you soon.
See ya.
Bye for now.
Bye-bye.